What's up, y'all, and welcome back to another show review with many thoughts with Dr. T. Hope y'all doing well. I am doing good. I can't complain as always. I had a really good week. What did I do this weekend? Last weekend, rather. Um, oh, you know what? I the church I grew up at had convention, convocation, whatever you want to call it. And I always enjoy. I don't go there anymore, but I always enjoy going to youth night on Saturday night, and it was really really good. So I enjoyed it. Church I go to now, or we go to, is more of a teaching church. You know what I'm saying? Which I enjoy because my whole thing is like I need to know how whatever is in the Bible is going to help me with my life, like the practicability of it all. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I just feel like you gotta find a balance. So sometimes it's like, and God said, and Daniel, and I'm like, I know that scripture, but what that gotta do with me? You know what I'm saying? So I really enjoy the church we go to now. But listen, sometimes I love to shout and I love to yeah. I be missing that. So I do be enjoying going back to my old church. I love a good B3 Hammond organ, man. So it just does something for me. So I mean, I wish our church had a better balance. I wish we could like shout and get the power. Like, I don't know, can we do it once a month? You know what I'm saying? Once out of 4 Sundays. Come on, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I always enjoy going back to my home church. To hear that organ, cut a good rug, you know what I'm saying? It's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. Okay, but anyway, um, we are here to talk about Ready to Love. So they came back after I don't know, 4 month hiatus. Crazy. What are they doing? I don't know. But it was worth it. It was a really good episode and I enjoyed it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Oh, y'all know what? I got this nice expensive mixer and I forgot to give myself a hand clap as I came in. So thank you. All right, so we're gonna get started with where we left off. I don't know why you leave on a cliffhanger knowing you're not gonna come back for 4 months. I don't know why. Okay. But we pick up, if you can remember, Fritz and Eddie were on the chopping block, and normally they do this like teaser where you don't know which one is gonna get let go. They both got let go. So I thought that was interesting. Um yeah, because I don't remember them saying like two guys needed to go home. So I was like, um, but anyway, they both went home, which I have no qualms about. I mean, they both weren't really serious. I told you Fritz wasn't serious. This was like a little game for him. Eddie, he's very attractive, 30, has his own company. Why would you not be married? So I don't think he's serious either. He was just on there just trying to get some camera time and trying to be a little playboy. So they're both gone. And anyway, the task for this week was meet the exes. Okay. And so the first exes that we meet are or Hussein and Angie. They're up first, and Hussein is there to meet Angie's ex. Okay. Um, which is also the father of her son. All right. So he the baby daddy or whatnot. All right. So Angie said that she had trouble letting him lead. Okay. And then the baby daddy kind of chimed in and was like, oh, because I got an example. Can I give you an example? And then he was like, when Angie was in labor with their son, Angie insisted on driving herself to the hospital. Okay, he was like, I got it. Like I can drive you, and she was like, no, I can drive myself. And so he was in the passenger seat. Y'all, this is deep. I had to pause it. I said, now wait, what? That's deep, y'all. Not you drove yourself to the hospital. And I know that, like, I understand nobody was around and you had to get there, but not your man was there and you still drove. That's a red flag, y'all. That's crazy. I was like, say what? That's deep. And his whole thing was She doesn't let a man lead. Okay, that was, and he didn't feel needed in the relationship. Um, and I was just like, what happened in her childhood or her upbringing or her early adult years that taught her I can't depend on anybody. The only person I can trust, the only person I can depend on is myself. Cause that's deep, y'all. That blew me away. I was taken aback because I feel like men get off scotch free with the whole pregnancy thing. That's like the thing that bothers me. Like out of all things in life, you got global warming, you know, politics, all type of things going on. The thing that bothers me the most is that men get off scotch free with this whole pregnancy thing. Literally, when I make it through the pearly gates of heaven, like that's the first question I'm gonna ask the good Lord. I'm gonna be like, first of all, I'm happy I'm here, right? Okay. But then I'm gonna be like, so why don't the men go through anything? I'm talking about nothing, y'all. We can't drink. We can't do anything. We got to be all health conscious with our food. We getting headaches. Can't move. Belly big. Got to get new clothes. Cramps. All the things. Nothing. Men get nothing. My whole point in this, y'all, is you got to milk it for all it's worth. Angie, what you mean you driving yourself? And I can kind of get it because I'm very similar. I've gotten better. It is I'm a giver and I like doing things for others. It is hard for me to accept help. Like I said, I'm recovering. Um, but when you're pregnant, that's when you need to lean in because you have an excuse. You see what I'm saying? And so that really blew me. And it's like I have a husband and three sons. They're young, but let me tell y'all something. When they get of age, when we talk about 10 and up, don't let them be in their teenage years because it's gonna be real light on the physical and manual labor over this way. Okay. I'm not pushing nothing. I'm not picking nothing up. I'm not moving nothing. Okay. I'm not bringing no groceries inside. I'm not pumping no gas, okay? When they get their license, my car will always be filled. Each and every Saturday, my car will be detailed from inside and out, okay? I got a whole list. They don't even know what's waiting for them around the corner, okay? When you got men in the house, uh, I can't be doing too much. Like what you drove yourself? That's 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 just so deep. And then it's funny because my one of my cousins, she really took it too far. Cause so it's levels of milking it, right? So I'm kind of like in the middle. Like I do stuff, but then I'm like, I need help. I'm pregnant. My cousin, I had called her one day and I forgot what I was calling her for. And she was like, "Oh yeah, my husband about to come pick me up from work." I was like, "Oh, what happened?" Because she was pregnant. She was like, "Oh girl, I can't be driving. Like, oh, it's too much. Like he gotta drop me off and pick me up. Like I can't. I gotta live this soft life." Like this is your moment because they ain't doing nothing else. They not going through nothing. So they got to be working. They got to be helping. You drove yourself? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. We moving on. Moving on. Okay, okay. Let me get back focused. Where my tangent button?
Clock it.
Oh, wrong one. Hold on, hold on.
This is a tangent.
All right. I went off the road, but I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Okay. So I say all that to say that and Angie and Deanna, the firefighter, would be like best friends because they got this same issue. They be trying to run the whole entire relationship. They would be like besties for real. Angie has two strikes. She still talks to her ex. If I don't know if y'all remember, but she was the one. She was talking with Eddie, and Eddie was asking her about her ex, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I still talk to my ex. Like we best friends." And that'll never stop. So she got that. And she won't let a man lead. Okay. So Angie got 2 strikes on her. Okay. She drove her. All right. Anyway, next, Kiera and Jay. Yikes. This was another one. I'm like, what is happening? So Kiera brings her ex. Um, and y'all, this is what makes me question like the people too. So I'm kind of looking at Kiara like, what's going on with you? When you are on a show and said show says, hey, bring a best friend, bring a ex, bring your girlfriend, bring, you got to know like the temperament of the person you're bringing on, right? Um, will they say the first thing that pops to their head? Will they embarrass me? Um, does this person still like me in terms of an ex? Do they hate me? Are they going to try to sabotage me? Like, these are questions that you should be asking yourself before you bring somebody onto the show. So Kiara, I think her ex, her baby daddy, is in prison from what I can remember. So she brings this other gentleman. I think his name was Jules or something like that, Juels or something like that. She could have brought anybody. Because again, she's not. I'm sorry, y'all. My um earpieces are coming off. She could have brought anybody, right? Because again, her baby daddy, her ex, is in prison, so it was open. Like she could have brought anybody, and she brings this guy. It was so weird. He was saying that when he knew her when she was 9, like, or there's a 9-year age gap or whatever. So he was like, I mean, I couldn't do anything because she was young. When anytime any man says that, that's scary. That always gives me predator vibes. Like, what you mean you couldn't do anything because she was young? Like, why was you even looking at her in that way? Like, so I waited until she was of age. That always makes me feel like when anytime anybody says that, it makes me feel like y'all did something beforehand. Cause it's like anytime a man makes it a point to point that piece out, like I waited till she was of age, then and it's like, did you? I don't know, y'all. Seems very weird. Um, and then he let us know, he made it very clear that he still has feelings for, um, is it Kiera? Am I saying her name wrong? Kiki. What is called Kiki? So he made it very prevalent and known that he still has feelings for her. And again, you know this, Kiki. So why did you bring him? Okay. And he says he would be hurt if she chose Jay over him. And he just kept letting it be known. And Jay was like, so are you still holding out for her? And he was like, you know what I'm saying? What was he saying? Like something about an opportunity. As long as you're alive, it's always an opportunity to, I don't know. Pretty much. I mean, he was letting me know like he still wanted to shoot his shot with her. I just thought it was cringe. It was so cringe. Um, and the good Dr. Phil, this is one thing he said back in the day that always stuck with me. He always said that we as humans, we don't do things that we don't get a payoff for, right? So for example, if your job said, yeah, we're not paying you no more, you gonna stop going because the only reason you're going is to get the money. See what I'm saying? So you're not just gonna keep going and they're not paying you, right? And that's with everything we do in life. Like we only continue to do things that we're getting something out of, right? Even if it's toxic and we're feeding off some toxicity, you know what I'm saying? So it just made me wonder, like, why is Kiki keeping him around? Like, what is she getting out of this? Cause she made it clear to like, yeah, I told him that we're friend zone, we friends, we homies. And I'm like, what? Like, why are you even still entertaining him in that way? If you know he wants to be with you, you don't want to be with him. I don't know. And also, yeah, I just can't do men that are overly animated. And it's to each his own. I'm just saying me. Like, I just feel like, you got your woman energy and you got your male energy. And I always liked the guy with to be just real chill, even kill. Like, all right, babe, yeah, I got you. I don't want my man to be like, what? Nah, cause not, and it's cool because everybody got different personalities, but it's a lot. And that's the kind of energy he was giving. Like, yo, when she was a servant, you know what I'm saying? But now, you know what I'm saying? What's your answer, kid? He was just doing a lot. It was a lot. Um, it's giving red flag. And I'm hoping Jay can see that. I hope he doesn't take this as some challenge. It kind of seemed like he was at the end or in the vault. We got the baby daddy, don't forget, coming home in 6 months. I don't trust it. We got this jealous ex, and not even an ex. I don't even know what you want to call this guy, a friend, childhood friend. Um, and then Jay was kind of trying to take up for her, but I was like, Jay, don't even worry. Like, you just need to sit back and listen. Just let this guy talk and tell you everything. Like, don't even do too much. And then Kiki was really quiet in the whole thing. Like, I would have been like, I don't know what he's talking about. I already told him it's friends. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I would have been interjecting. She was just like, just letting him say all this stuff. Yeah. Moving right along. Next, we have Shanice and Cisco. So Shanice said the ex she brought was the only one that would participate, that she felt would participate in this experience in a healthy way. Okay, so let's clap it up for Shanice. Thank you. That's all I was saying. You know your exes. Bring the one that's going to do right. Okay, so Shanice got some points on that. She nailed it. But then she lost me when she said this is the ex from college. And I said, I literally went to go look up her age. I said, no, from college. Shanice, you're 44. You mean 2 decades ago? OMG. I think the person you were, as all of us, in college, it might not be that same person you are now. Like, you're the same person, but hopefully you've grown in some ways. Like, you couldn't bring a person from like 3 years ago. Okay, 5 years ago. 9, 20 years ago. Oh man, this show was getting better and better. That was crazy. So Francisco asked why did they break up? And then her ex was saying that back then Shanice was doing a lot of traveling back and forth, and he wasn't really able to travel. I was like, what are y'all talking about? What traveling was you doing in college? Like, what? I don't know what that meant. But he said he didn't have his stuff together. I don't know, y'all. I think they might be lying. I don't know. Cisco was feeling it too. He was like, damn, y'all kind of got chemistry. Like, what's going on here? And I was feeling him as well. I mean, I'm glad they kept in contact for, I don't know, 20 odd years. I don't know. I'm not in contact. I mean, I'm married, but I'm not in contact with any of my exes like that 20 odd years later out of college. So I don't know what they got going on. Um, and then the fact that I'm sure you dated many more people since college, and the fact that you couldn't bring any of them on. Like, what was going on? What's wrong? Like, is something up with them? Are they crazy? Were they gonna say you was crazy? Was you tripping and you don't want the beans spilled? I don't know. But then her ex, so then Cisco mentioned that he has another connection, which is Tay. And so Shanice's ex was like, Shanice, how does Tay look? And Shanice was like, oh, she cute. You know what I'm saying? Cisco, out of nowhere. Nobody asked him. Oh no, she not cute. She beautiful. I was like, oh God. And that's the end of that connection. Okay. And Shanice caught it too. She was like, okay. Y'all, all these people crazy. I was just trying to find somebody like a regular relationship with regular people, and I haven't been able to find it yet. Okay. So next we went to Sahara and Cam. Sahara does not have an ex. Okay. Her ex passed away and he was her best friend. She says that she loves unconditionally, and it's not much that someone can do to make her leave. That's always a red flag, y'all. I hate to hear that. Like I always tell y'all, like a man needs to know that you'll be up out of here if need be. Okay. And again, I'm not talking about running off of any little thing, but I'm talking about talking to you crazy, abuse of any kind, infidelity, the big stuff. They need to know that you gonna bounce. And when they find out that you not gonna bounce, they gonna take you through it. And y'all all know relationships that are like that, where the woman has been through it. And it's because she won't leave. Very simple. Um, and Sahara, I mean, she said as much. She said that her ex used to handle her really rough because he felt like she could take it. Exactly. Um, and Cam said, I mean, it's a good thing. You a ride or die. Like, nah, Sahara, don't listen to that. Of course, it's a good thing to him. And this was so funny. I don't know why this was so funny to me, but Sahara says she doesn't want to be a ride or die. She wants to be a ride or live. I say that's right, Sahara. That's right, girl. Be a ride or live. I don't know why that was so funny to me. Um, yeah, you love unconditionally, but like I said, to a point. When it comes to the big things like that, you got to be going. Like you can't let people treat you any kind of way. And I think too, you have to, as a woman, before you start dating, you have to have a self confidence about yourself, and you got to find you some self esteem. You see what I'm saying? I just always felt like, and I think I told y'all this before. I feel like all women should feel like this about yourself. I just always felt like I was such a dope person. So such a dope woman. It's like it's me. Like you would be so lucky to be with me. Like I'll upgrade your whole life. Like what? It, huh? And I'm joking, but I'm not joking. You know what I'm saying? So with that mentality, there's a list of standards that you must meet. You know what I'm saying? If you want to date me, you want to be with me, there are requirements. You see? And so yeah. She's just gotta I think she gotta get more self-esteem, more self-confidence, and be ready to go. Like if somebody's playing on your top, you gotta get out of there because you wanna be please. Okay, anyway, next is Rose. And Rose is meeting with Hussein and Cam. They're meeting all at the same time. So Cam said, and here we go. So we called him Ike Turner, Cam Turner. Every time, every episode, there's been some problematic thing that he has said, in my opinion. And here was the one for this episode. Cam said, it seems like she can do no wrong. So I wanted to see if I could dig up some dirt on her a little bit. Like, what? Who says that? So I feel like he came in with the wrong energy, the wrong motive, and he was looking for some like, I got you, like some moment like that. And I just thought that was kind of the wrong way to approach it. Like I can understand saying, I want to dig a little deeper. I want to find out more about her, but I want to dig up some dirt. I thought that was a lot. So they asked Rose, um, they asked Rose ex because her ex was there. So they asked him, what does Rose need to work on and what are some of her flaws? And the ex said that she's overly caring. I thought maybe he meant she could be a little smothering, maybe. Um, and then Cam didn't want to hear that because again, he's looking for the dirt, honey. So that didn't sit well with him. And he said he knows that nobody's perfect. Um, but at the same time, I'm like, and don't get me wrong, nobody is perfect. But at the same time, I don't think that everybody has like deep, dark, glaring red flags and flaws all the time. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know what he was looking for. And again, I feel like everybody has a level of crazy. Like I told y'all that too. And the whole thing when you're dating is just to figure out, okay, can I deal with that level right there? So I thought maybe the ex, what he was trying to say, and I'm guessing is that maybe Rose is smothering. Maybe she doesn't give space. That could be a thing. As well. And then, that could be a lot. I know for me, I'm an only child, and so I'm used to space. That's all I've ever had. And I know, so even for me, when I got married, even when I was dating my husband, he would kind of be alarmed because I don't need like somebody to be on top of me, to be beside me every step of the way. Like, I enjoy being by myself watching my shows. Like, I'm perfectly fine. And so that's something that he had to get used to because I was like, that's not a rejection of you. I just enjoy my space. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand if my husband was the type of person that needed to be up under me like every second and we always had to be just right beside each other. That would be a lot for me. So maybe that's what the ex was trying to say. So because that could, I don't know if it's a flaw, but it could be something that you would need to know, some information that you would need to know if you want to be with Rose. I also kind of interpreted it as, I wonder if Rose is like a people pleaser, right? I'm wondering if she just overly performs, right? That way she can keep a man type of thing. Cause he was like, "Yeah, I'm good," and she was like, "You sure? You sure you good?" And he was saying like, "I moved to the left," and she moved to the left. So, um, I know Kim, that wasn't good enough dirt for him, but that could be something that you need to know, if it's a person like that. Some people like that. The love languages, what is it? Physical touch. If that's your thing, then Rose would be amazing. But if that's not your thing, that could be a lot and it could feel a lot. So I thought that was good insight, but Kim was just looking for something so salacious. It kind of just sailed over his head. All right, so then we go to Tay and Khalil and Cisco. So Tay's ex could not make it as well. That was like a reoccurring thing. A lot of the exes weren't there. She said her exes are currently in relationships, and she respected that. I interpreted it as their girlfriends was like, "Nah, you ain't about to be on that show. Like, we ain't having that." Basically. So they asked Tay what are the things she doesn't like, and she says snoring. Y'all, if you're single and in the dating market, I need you to have a list of attributes that you're looking for in a potential mate and a spouse, things that you desire. I also need you to have a list of non negotiables and deal breakers. You should be rehearsing those. Okay. You should be able to say them in your sleep. And when when you on a date, somebody gonna say, well, what type of guy are you looking for? What type of woman are you looking for? Duh. What are some of your deal breakers? What are some of the things you don't like? Duh. You need to be able to rid of those right off, right? Snoring, that's what you came up with? Y'all, Tay, let me help you. Here are some things that I had, okay? Number one for me is I couldn't be with anybody that doesn't have a relationship with God. You don't go to church or you're not trying, right? So even if there was a guy that, I'm just making this up, that I was trying to date, and he was like, I'm not in the church, but I really want to. Like, it's like, okay, I could work with that, but that's number one. Inconsistent communication. I couldn't do that. If you texted me one day and then 2 days I don't hear from you, then you text me again. I call you always, missing my call. Inconsistent communication. I can't do that. No goals or aspirations. This was huge because, when I was 22, I was like, I'm going places and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So if I was with a guy and I'm like, where do you see yourself? Like, what are your dreams? What are you trying to do? And if he was like, I mean, you know what I'm saying, I'm just working this here job. No, you know what I'm saying? I can't do that. And your 40s and 50s, I get it. You might be beat down by the world, but when we was like in our 20s and stuff, and even your 30s, like I need you to see yourself doing something. Okay. Um, Disrespecting boundaries, I can't do that. So let's say, for example, if I'm just getting to know a guy and I'm like, yeah, let's meet at a restaurant for the first couple of dates, just get to know you. I don't really know you like that. I don't want you at my house. I don't want you to know where I live. And then if he's like, ah, man, come on, man, let's let me can't do it. Being secretive, being vague. You have men that are like that. Like you can't ever really find out anything about them. Everything's real vague. You don't really know too much. Like, when was your last relationship? Oh, you know what I'm saying? I don't really, it's just always just generalizations. You don't know mama, daddy, sister, brothers. It's just it feels like they're hiding something. Poor work ethic. That's another one. If every couple of weeks you got a new job type of deal, well, she didn't know how to talk to me, you know what I'm saying? And she said that and that, so I had to cuss her out and I got fired. If it's always something like that, if you don't go to work, if every time I turn around you sick or you got an excuse of why you calling out and stuff like that, I can't do it. Okay. Those are some examples. Snoring. And I get it, but that's like way down the list, sis. We gotta get the big things first, okay? So y'all make sure you know your list. All right, that's unacceptable. Not less you on a dating show. You on a dating show? You didn't think somebody might ask you that? All right, so then Khalil asks how she deals with conflict. She says she tends to get defensive and she feels like she's being attacked. Okay. Um, because I think she said the example, she was like, you can tell me, but don't yell at me or something like that. And that's why, tone is very, very important. I always say that. It's like when the tone is off, when the tone is not right, I miss the message. You see what I'm saying? I'm more worried about like, dang, why did he say it like that? Why did he raise his voice? And I'm missing whatever you trying to get across. Okay. So tone is important. So I am with her on that. Um, she says she starts to pull away when she doesn't feel heard. And that is another valid thing. And I think everybody does that, right? And even, with my husband, anytime we have a disagreement, that's something that I always reiterate, like, hey, we're on the same team. Because sometimes we get a disagreement, you can start almost battling that person. And I'm always like, we're on the same team. We're just seeing this issue differently, right? So my job is to see where he's coming from, and his job is to see where I'm coming from. Because it's not a me versus him. We're just trying to figure out how we can solve this issue that we're both seeing a little bit differently. That's all it's really about. So I see what she's saying on that too. Um, so then let's see. So let me jump back. They were jumping back and forth. So back with remember Rose is with Hussein and Cam, and we're back where Cam is trying to find this dirt on Rose. Okay. So Cam asked Rose if she needs church and spirituality from a partner. Because if you can remember, Rose, that was one thing that she said she needed. She's very spiritual. She wants her man to be spiritual. And Cam was like, yeah, I don't really do all that. I don't know why Rose continues to date him. Okay. I don't know. Because Kim was very forward, like, I'm not doing all that. And I applaud him for being forward about that. Rose continues to go on dates with this man. So Kim brings it up again. Hey, I'm asking again. How serious are you about this whole spirituality and church thing? So Rose, to her credit, says that that is something that she needs. Okay. So then Rose's ex jumps in and was like, so you gonna be going to church and and then Kim was like, a church? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not opposed to it. I was like, Rose. And she did good, but then she backtracked, in my opinion, and was like, but you got to understand, I'm the most understanding woman ever. And that's the people pleasing part I was telling y'all about earlier. Just stand on it. Like, yeah, that's what I need. If you can't provide that for me, it's all good. I'm like, who is Cam? Like, why are you fighting for Cam? It's all good. Um, so I felt I was discouraged that she backtracked on that. but I do applaud Kim for digging deeper into that. Um, and again, I just think faith is number one. Like y'all, you and your whoever you're dating, your spouse, you got to be aligned on that. And I talked about that in my last review. It's just like it's why make marriage harder, and so many issues are going to come up with that. Um, Faith can't be compromised because, like I was telling y'all, it's a lifestyle. It's not a going to church on Sunday. I mean, it's so much more than that. It should be, right? And so, and even with the going to church thing, it's like Rose will eventually resent him because what's the compromise? If he what can he go once a month? What if he wants to go once a quarter, once a year? Right? So then that's going to start being the thing. Well, I mean, you don't never go to church with me, you know? And that's going to be a whole thing, I'm telling you. So I wish they would just stop and just realize that sometimes you're just not compatible with somebody, and that's okay. That's a part of the dating process is to fish those things out early. And if you once you realize that, you can bow out gracefully, and it's all good. It doesn't mean that person's a bad person. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, just it's just like, hey, we're just not gonna be able to work, but I respect you. You're a great person. I wish you well. And then you can go on about your way and date other people. It's all good. But it's just sad to when you can glaringly see we're not compatible, but then you're still trying to find a way to make it work. Um, so then we go to Angie and Cam. So remember, Angie was with Hussein at first and she brought her baby daddy. So this is Angie, the one that drove herself. I can't get over that. And remember her ex was there. Now Angie meets with Cam and she doesn't bring her ex. She says that she was able to go a little bit deeper with Hussein. So she was comfortable with inviting her ex to meet Hussein, but she wasn't comfortable inviting him to meet Cam. So I thought that was interesting. Um, Yeah, I wondered if the real reason she didn't invite him because the ex was saying too much and doing too much. And again, I thought maybe that might be another example of her the control that she needs to have in a relationship. But I don't know. Maybe she was sincere that she just didn't feel like she could go there with Cam. So Cam says that his ex might say that he has a problem with everything, and I can believe it. Cam Turner. Okay. He says he just wants to address the problems before they become bigger issues. I could so see this, y'all. I could so see Cam having an issue with everything. Yeah, because no, 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 just chill. Like I'm just saying, like the way you did that, because I need to be the man, and what you doing is not letting me be the man. I can so see it. Anyway, Angie, oh yeah, so yeah, because he said he wants to address issues before they become bigger issues, and he really doesn't like arguing and fighting. Then Angie says, but sometimes I like arguing. Sometimes I enjoy it because of, making up. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy it. Y'all. Angie is very immature. Um, she drove herself. She best friends with that ex. And now she love to argue. And it's three strikes and you out. I'm done on Angie. And Cam, you deserve her if you end up choosing her. And she didn't even trust you enough to bring her ex to see you at that. Okay. I'm done with Angie. She drove herself. Oh my. Okay. Now Deanna, Naeem, and Khalil. And I think this is our last one. Yeah. Okay. Deanna, Naeem, and Khalil. So Deanna also didn't bring her ex because they are not on speaking terms and they're not friends. And that tracks. I could so see that. If y'all didn't see my last review, my thing with Deanna, I feel like she has a complex with wanting to prove that I can do what a man can do, honey. Okay. And I think she gets her identity from that firefighter job. That's the prime male, job. And, she's like, yeah, I can do the same thing. And I think that bleeds over to her life. When she went on that date with Hussein is 6'7". You know how tall that is? There are two horses. There's a big horse, there's a smaller horse. Any rational woman would say, I'm gonna give the big horse to the 6'7" guy. Okay. Even if he wasn't 6'7", he's a guy, he's a man. I'm gonna give him the bigger horse. Not Deanna. I took the big horse and I gave him the. And it's just this thing of her always having to prove that I can do what a man can do. And that's why I said her and Angie, Miss Driving herself, like they could be besties. And so when she says she's not on speaking terms with any of her exes, like I can believe that. I just feel like she trying to run it. She gonna run that relationship, period. So they asked her if her ex was here, what would he say? And she said he would say that she's a runner. And every time there's a problem that she wants to leave. And again, like I said, I can believe it because I think, and again, it's my opinion, I don't know her. She wants to run the relationship. And I feel like when a man's like, hey, 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 or, even lovingly tries to call her out on anything, I think she doesn't like that. And she'd be ready to go. You see what I'm saying? So I can definitely see that. I feel like she feels like she can do no wrong. And everything she says goes, what she says is right. And if a guy tries to be a guy and maybe lead a little bit, she not having it. Um she also says when things would happen, she would keep it inside and it would have to happen for two or more times before she would say something. And I said, oh my goodness, if projecting was a person, do y'all remember? Again, this is the same date I'm talking about when she was on a date with Hussein, the whole horses thing. After they rode the horses, they sat down and they talked about deal breakers. And Deanna said um, the deal breaker for her was communication. And she said, you know what, Hussein? You know what I think about you? You the type of person that don't speak up when something is wrong, when you have a issue with your partner. You just simmer on it and you just let it sit. And it takes you a while to say something. And Hussein was like, what are you talking about? You don't know me? That's actually not how I am. Y'all, this is the definition of projecting. I know we hear that term a lot. This is a classic example. Okay. Projection is when you take your own thoughts, your own fears, your own insecurities, and you subconsciously, because you're not doing it on purpose, you subconsciously pin it on somebody else. Right. Because I thought that was so weird. Just like Hussein, when she said that, I was like, where's this coming from? Like, why did she just tell him how he is and she don't even know him like that? I mean, she said it so matter of fact. She was like, oh, I know you. I know. I can tell you the type of person. I mean, just riddled all this off. I thought that was weird. So in this scene, when she says, you know what I do? I don't speak up. I keep stuff. I was like, dang, you were talking about yourself and you were projecting that onto him. So wow. Um, and what else? She also says that her ex felt like he had to walk on eggshells around her. And again, I can believe it. I can believe it because I just think she needs to run it. And so he gotta be like, uh, I can get it. Um, I wanna be like now I'm wondering about Deanna because it's like, y'all, there's levels to transparency, there's levels to honesty. And I was like, dang, Deanna, you was real honest. Like overly so. Let's run this back. She's a runner. Every time there's a problem, she wants to leave. She keeps things inside. The person has to do it two or more times before she even says anything. And then she said if they do it three times, she's done. She ain't even told you that's a problem until the second time. And then you do it one more time, you out. And then you gotta walk on eggshells around her. I was like, dang, Deanna, they didn't even need your ex there. You just told it all. Listen, y'all. Okay. If you're gonna be this transparent and this honest, You got to flip it and make it a positive. You know, like on interviews when they ask you that question, like, what's your biggest weakness or whatever? I used to always be like, I'm an executor and I'm just so efficient and I love to get things done. But in the midst of doing that, I can sometimes just miss the details and skip the details. And I know that's really important. So over the last couple of years, I've been working to find the perfect balance. You see what I'm saying? You got to bring it around. You got to make it a positive. You got to spin it. Deanna just left it like, "Yep, that's me." I was like, "Ooh, Deanna, if I heard those things, I wouldn't want to date you, honey. Like, what have you done to make it better?" Like, he told me those things. I worked on myself. You can use the buzzword, I'm in therapy. People just be saying it. You do need to go therapy. We all need to go therapy, but sometimes people just be saying it. They go one time and be like, I'm in therapy. But yeah, she was mad honest. I was like, whoa. And I didn't hear of how she's worked on it or how she's getting better. It was just like, yep, that's me. I was like, wow. Okay. So that's all I had, y'all. After that, the men went to the vault to deliberate, and then Shanice ended up going home. And I think the only person Shanice was even really talking to was Cisco, and then Cisco is stuck on Tay. So I thought it was cool that I mean not cool, but it made sense that she would go home. So that's all I have. It was actually a really entertaining comeback episode. So I'm interested to see the rest of it. So I'll see y'all a little bit later, episode 7. See ya.